and I am giving my U.S. history presentation. A few days ago, I was reading our U.S. history book, and I got to the sections about the presidential election of 2008. Right from the beginning, the book specifies the election of 2008 was historic. This election was one of the most interesting ones in history, not only because of the diverse candidates, like Obama being the first black candidate and Hillary Clinton being the first woman, but also the tactics used were some of the most unique and innovative in history. So I looked in and saw that all of these candidates clearly had fantastic ideas, but I wanted to see what really set Obama apart, why he ultimately won. And I think the book actually specifies the answer. It says, what appeared to bolster his chances, Obama's, most, however, was the worldwide economic meltdown in the final 6 weeks of the campaign. The book continues to say that the American housing price bubble had begun to burst in 2006, which in turn led to a huge wave of mortgage defaults, housing foreclosures, and declines in a vast array of mortgage-backed securities held by banks around the globe. Economists of every stripe spoke of the gravest financial crisis since the Great Depression. I read this and my first thought was this was a very terrible time for America. Why? How could this be so powerful for Obama? How can this be the deciding factor that brought him into presidency? So I think with that question in mind, I continued to read and got to the answer, I think. The book says, this crisis presented the presidential candidates with a challenge and an opportunity. Obama criticized McCain's plan to extend and even deepen the Bush tax cuts as evidence that the McCain presidency would be a third Bush term. Obama used his ideas to bring something that was so terrible for America to his advantage. And the way he did this was by the power of hope, which in my opinion is one of the most powerful tools that a leader can use. And that's demonstrated in history. Hope is something so powerful that every single person can cling to, especially one that's in such a bad situation. For America to be in this terrible economic state, they were looking for anything that could give them hope. And this tool has been used countless times through history, whether for good or for bad. For example, during World War II, after the reparations and all of the terrible situations for Germany, they were looking for anything that could bring them out of those times. And for them, that thing was Hitler. Hitler came out and gave speeches upon speeches about all of the things he will do well for Germany. He talked about how he will bring them out of their economic downfall, and he will make them a leading nation, which he did in a way. But it was really interesting to see that the way he became in charge was not by threatening the people, but by really giving them something to hope for. And I actually found one of the first speeches he gave to the German public, and it demonstrates just that. He says, the inheritance which has fallen to us as a country is a terrible one. The task with which we are faced is the hardest which has fallen in German statesmen within the memory of man. But we are all filled with unbounded confidence, for we believe in our people and their imperished virtues. Every class and every individual must help us to found the new Reich. The national government will regard it as its first and foremost duty to revive in the nation the spirit of unity and cooperation. It will preserve and defend those basic principles on which our nation has been built. It regards Christianity as the foundation of our national morality and the family as the basis of national life. So, Hitler spoke about all of the terrible situations that Germany was in, and he played off of them and used them directly for his advantage. He said, this is what's so terrible about Germany, but this is how I'm going to fix it. and this is how amazing of a country we will be if you choose me as your leader. And they did because of this powerful tool. And Obama in 2008 did the same thing, but in his case, it was for the positive. I also found one of Obama's speeches. This was the speech he made after winning the South Carolina Democratic presidential primary election. And he said, "You can be the new majority who can lead this nation out of a long political darkness, who understands that if we mobilize our voices to challenge the money and influence that stood in our way, and challenge ourselves to reach for something better, there's no problem we can't solve, no destiny we cannot fulfill." He continues to talk about the economy, the education, all of these hardships for America, and says, "But vote for me, and I will bring you out of these. I'm the hope that will help you guys." It's like all of those signs, and it's not a secret. All of Obama's signs have the words hope in big letters. So to me, it was just really fascinating how the best leaders, or not necessarily the best, but the most powerful leaders in history, have used something so terrible for their nation and given them that hope to bring them out. And I believe that this is ultimately what gave Obama the presidential status that he has now. So thank you, and see you next time.